Yeah. So it has to have like a ha moment, and and you're like adding the images, 5 images of each gestures. And oops, we just lost somebody. I don't know. Fate is back. Yeah. So odd. I don't know what's going on. Well, I don't need to know everything. Fate, what happened? Did you
I
try
just had to
to?
restart because apparently it didn't have permission to share screen.
Okay. Um.
I can try. Oh,
There, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
So I chose "du pas de dos," which is ballet term for a duet. And for my math style, I just chose like 15 different ones. So this is an American in Paris. For the math style, I liked it a little bit more than well, you'll see. But I liked the math style. I found it fun. I liked the blending of it, especially. I really like the head of the girl in this one because I feel like it kind of looks like watercolor, which I loved. Um, so yeah, that's my mass. And then I realized when I was uploading this that I completely forgot the guy's arms in both of them. And also that I mixed up, this is actually Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty is and Cinderella Sleeping Beauty because they have very similar costumes. So I mixed them up, but regardless. And then I really loved the wireframe. I found that this one was the most fun for me. Yeah, Frankenstein here. Actually Sleeping Beauty, but Cinderella. And I really loved doing the wireframe. I found that that one was the most relaxing for me out of all of them. Um, and then you have your contour line style. I hated this one. This one stressed me out so much because I wanted it to be perfect the whole time. But I think they turned out okay. And I think they all look really pretty. So my aha moment, which is what I think you're getting at that you want me to share, is that I feel like I'm usually really good at picking things up and I'm really good at things normally. And like I consider really hard things less challenging. I grew up doing pointe, which is the hardest form of ballet, and like I grew up doing theater. So I was always part of like this rigorous, like tight group of people who wanted to like succeed and excel. But this was really hard for me. So I don't really consider things really hard normally. Drawing is really hard for me, especially like hands. I'm really bad at drawing hands and faces. I realized I was really good at drawing feet though, and maybe that's, or at least feet in pointe shoes, and maybe that's because I spent years looking at my own. But yeah, that's mine.
Um, Thank you, Faith. You really did well. It's hard, especially you write feet and hands, and the next week is about how to draw hands and their relationship to the body. But what's the most important here? You did such a great expressive drawings of the movement without really paying attention to too many details. And that's the goal, like to capture the movement, because the costume design rendering is all about the action and the movement, differently than the fashion design. And so I think this was very good. I agree. Wireframe is probably the most fun. The contour is very hard because it makes us think analytically more than we do the wireframe or when we do the mass. So I just want to say you did really well, and doing this kind of exercise, especially the mass, help you understanding the silhouette. And silhouette is the most important part of the discussion on the costumes. So understanding the silhouette, which is really what is the core, the cutout of the form that we were working with. So Shavaz, you want to share yours? Um,
yeah.
this is lovely that you had the resource so that we compare. It was not necessary, but it's awesome that you have it. So we have the reference point. Uh, and Shavaz did really well. And her, the one thing that I'm trying to say and I'll talk individually at the meetings, is about the movement and not about the particulars like head and body parts. We want to look the body as the whole, not as bunch of pieces put together. I mean, there's an exercise, and we'll do that with the hand too, that makes you think that way, which is more analytical. But the perception is really challenged and speaks the best when we're doing the mass or wireframe, because we speak to what we see, not what we know. And Shavaz had a great comments on that. So can you share what you have?
Yeah. So here is my mask, which these are really hard because I have fake nails on right now. So I couldn't like,
Oh my God, I know, that's terrible. That's a trouble right
I
there.
could barely hold the charcoal. So, but yeah, but I kind of just like turned it on the side and I tried to follow more like angles of the body than being as like perfect as I wanted it to be. Here's the wire drawings. Yeah, these are fun. Kind of just like scribbling. I feel like I didn't have to worry as much about it being perfect as I did with the math. Here's the contour. I've done contour a lot throughout like art classes because I feel like this is just like a exercise in literally any class, art class you take. If it involves drawing, you just do contour all the time. For my learning experience, I basically said that I've just like done these for years, and I feel like it's just a staple because it's not like the type of thing where you do it one time and then you see your art improve. It's like there's a reason that every single teacher in art does this, because every time you do it, it makes like you get better, which you may not feel like it, but that's how it works. And then for my aha moment, it wasn't necessarily like when I was doing these, but once I like started getting into art and taking classes, I realized that these weren't about like being perfect at all. It was just about trying to get your hands to process what your eyes are seeing and not what you want to see or what you want to get on the paper. It's just kind of more about doing what you see instead of like doing what you want it to look like or worrying about it being perfect. So yeah.
Can you share how much time you spent like on each? Did you?
I think these ones were 30
Just-
seconds.
Okay.
I think the mask and the wire were 30, and then the contour was like a minute.
Yeah, contour requires more time because we're processing the information, and so yeah, we'll practice more, and it's just important that we just tap into this and build the library. And you're so right, Shoaz. The perfectionism, even though that we might have these tendencies, I mean, I'm guilty of perfectionism too, but these kind of drawings really release you of the pain of being perfect in what you do. But it also help you with the practicing of your perception and speed and hand eye brain coordination. Sadly, my whole life, like I was able to make like 15-30 seconds gesture drawings, and when I start my project with the design, I always do those like 15 seconds, usually to 30. Since my eye surgery, it takes me like 3 minutes. I cannot believe it. I slow down 6 times, which means I have to go into practicing. So I'll report to you like at the end of semester, did I speed up or not? But it's something to kind of take with the kindness. I mean, take it in and think of, well, no matter how it looks like, the practicing brings you to the place when you're faster and your perception is more accurate and drawings become more clear and clean. So thank you for sharing. Okay. Do you guys have any questions for Shavaz or Faith, or comments, or do you have any other questions related to the assignment? This one specifically? Any comments? say something.
I just wanted to say that both of your guys' gesture drawings were really pretty and like really cool. I really liked them a lot. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yay. Thank you, Emma, for support. So shall we guys move to the this week assignment and what we're doing? Yes, how do you feel about it? Maybe I can share like really fast PowerPoint. I don't want to overdo it because I want you to look at that on your own time and pace, but I'm curious, did any of you guys had connected with each other over this week for the next assignment that we have? Since I'm sharing, I don't see you, I need to hear you. Did anybody had the chance to talk to your partner? Guys?
Yes.
Okay. So, so what did you guys talk about?
I mean, we talked about the photos that we had sent each other for the hair, basically.
Okay. Well, we're going to jump on it this week and hopefully finish it by Monday. It takes approximately everything with the reading and so forth, around like 14 hours to produce it. And we're tapping into more drawing exercises as well as we are doing this project. And I'll just go over fast and discuss a couple things. So we're going to look into proportions, how the proportions are done in fashion design. They're like 8 to 9 heads. So this very elongated figure. In the costume designs and developing costume character, or actually character for the anything like for the movie or for the theater, we always take in account all the variations of the body, of the facial features, of the action, of what the characters are doing. And so the designs, for costume designs for the characters are different than fashion designs because they have less heads for starters, so proportions are different. And there's a attention to the head, the face, the hands, shoes, and so forth. So highly detailed, so to speak. This is what you need to produce, which is there's a form, and keep it, and you can make a copy of it for the future. It gives you like questions that you ask when you're building a character. So this can be applicable to the video gaming or creating a development of a character. This is applicable to movie or TV and theater. And this is also part of our assignment for this week. So you will be looking into your person through many different lenses. And then you're going to compile the information that you have on this form, like really kind of taking notes. And what I do, like this really evolves over the time. So I start with something, and then as the more that I know, I revise it. Two important things. One, you have a bed hair image of your peer, and you share yours with your partner, and then you write the information that is on the left-hand side: your age, your gender, your psychological traits, where you're from, social status, what you like, dislike, past references or actions, what's your profession, relationship or relationships, season, and then silhouette, describe what you want to achieve or what you already have. Then you compile the wardrobe list, which is once the research is done, with the accessories and the discussion on the tape, shape, phase, body shape, colors, texture. So the form that you have here, it's not full, but you have the form in the Moodle, you just pull it out. Okay, are you sleepy? So basically those are preparation practices we did with the Godot, the research, but we're going to look in the color harmony and the psychological effects of color, and then, you know, how silhouette or the body shape is referenced in what we do. So you have to assign the body shape and the facial shape to your peer. And it's interesting because maybe you don't see them. So if you have, you might ask them like about their height or the weight if they want to share, or you just like assume from the face. The goal is to create a makeover or the ideal version in your perception. I would not say ideal, but you know, a version that is in your perception like very positive about your peer that you know or you don't know. So you start, you know, with understanding what is that you're working with, which is like what is the body shape, which is the face. And I'll discuss a little bit later, showing you the examples. And then you're looking in the colors and the meaning of the colors. And I give you like the chart here that connects to the color meaning in psychological and emotional level. And you can actually get way more information from the course book. And if you have the character traits and the list from your peer, you just compare them to what is in there with the colors and then make choices. There is also a link with the color harmonies. So you can actually type in one color that you feel strongly about that person is represented with, and then you can get actually the combo that you can add combo of colors that are working harmoniously, developing like different intention that you have. So the colors are sort of the first choice for the description of the psychology that we're looking into. The research is really important, and looking into likes, dislikes, what is this person about, and doing the research. So this is like a person who declare as them, they, theirs, but not publicly, and is having a little bit like apple shape, kind of overweight silhouette, loves to watch the Chinese fantasy dramas like wuxia, and I don't know how to pronounce this, but whatever. And she learned to draw from manga. She's a fashion designer. One site that I want you to use for the research of the clothing, and at least to start with, is the J. Peterman site, and it's kind of funny because that site is related to Seinfeld. I don't know if you guys watch Seinfeld, but it has a very interesting descriptive explanation of the clothing. So I'll talk about that in a second. So you can see here, it starts from the image, from the hair, bad hair, what kind of hair is it? This person has a very damaged hair from all the dye, but wants to keep the hair long. And so what would be the idea that connects to the research is just like this undercut and having a bun and dyed black. And there's a typo here, I see, oh wow. So resembling, you know, the warriors from the Chinese fantasy drama or from manga, and then and not having to cut fully the hair, but just like trimming the sides and dyeing it black so that it grows. So that's like a first step. There's a link with the facial shapes related to the hair so that you can check and have some ideas from there or find your own. And then, you know, the research that is done with this like jpetermans.com site that has a very elaborate drawings of the garments. And this is like one of the ideas, like, you kind of sift through that and you can show your process. But this is the idea of having an overcoat, basically having non-binary silhouette, sort of like a Billie Eilish, and having a little bit of a the reference to the ethnic or or different cultures, and it's very soft, like the garment, so the texture is just like soft, but it's flowy, but it has some weight to it. So, and then go piece by piece, so explaining, in this case, this person being non-binary has these boots that are ecologically savvy because they're made from a recycled fabric or materials, wears the 1950s glasses, and the repurposed mailman or mailbag, really oversized, as she's going to work. And of course, face mask. What can you do? Because it's happening like 2021. So being an artist, there's this like mask that is embroidered or hand embroidered, and speaks to a little bit of the character. And then the jeans that are soft, very soft cotton, denim, thin, and with the straight legs, and accentuating the elongated figure. So in the next pages, you're going to see the exercise that you're going to do, because we want to practice how to do hands. So the common mistake with the drawing of the hands in a presentation of the costumes is that the hands are too small. So guys, why don't we do this? Can you see the bottom of your palm? Okay. And put the bottom of your palm at the bottom of your, or actually the beginning of your chin. Okay. Ally. And try to do this, like cover your face fully with your hand and see how much you have space left to the top, to the hairline, to the beginning of the hairline. When you cover your whole face, like it's about a finger, an inch or sort of, right? Before the hairline, and then you have like whatever for the scalp. So that is to say that our hands are much bigger than with what we have tendency to draw them like when we are doing the drawings. So I want you to understand that, and then we'll do the exercise with the hands that I would recommend that you guys do it 10 minutes before you go to sleep, and do like 4 and 4 hands, 4 left, 4 right, with both hands, left and right. And have it like with the charcoal, and just relax. Do it with your dominant first, and then with non-dominant, and dominant, non-dominant, and try to divide it. That's important, to think of the hand as the masses or the pieces that are like this. You can see either you can make it as a box or it's a cylinder. So it's important to really mark every place where the joints are and be aware of that, because then it makes hands look like a hand, except and not look like a sausage. Okay, so try your left and right, and try to do this division that I did not recommend to be doing it with the body gestures. Okay, so practicing this and having like 4 left and 4 right that you put in your digital journal will actually give you a little bit more practice to use this experience and draw the hand on the actual presentation of the character. So moving along with the ideas of the proportions, look at the right side image. I found this like funny representation of how many heads fit into the body. I never seen that before. But a person is like 7.5, 7, 6 even heads from head counting down. Do you guys understand this like idea of the references, how it is done? Yes. Okay. So, that is to say, like the person that you're creating or that you're reimagining needs to have this understanding of the proportions. So, and you're going to actually present it on a side of the image that you built. So see, this one is built completely minus the face, but everything else is from that J. Peterman's catalog. And I use the Photoshop, and digitally it's much faster if you do it with the Photoshop or anything similar. Like I think you can do it with Procreate too. If you don't have any access to the digital ways of doing it, you can do it like a very traditional way, which is print the image and scale it down on the printer, like going to Kinko's or to the library, and they're like a percentage where you reduce the scale until you get to the proportion that you need. And this is like a good exercise to practice the proportions, and you know, how many heads do you fit in into the whole body, okay? The ending is the same whether you do it digitally or traditionally. I want you to print out the image and then do the drawings of the hands. I don't know if you see. So instead of like having an image of the hands, just do your own impression of the hands. And then, you know, get like a marker and outline it the way that you feel it's good or whatever that you like, okay? Are you guys following so far? So this is a kind of traditional version, which is like literally cutting the image. And I mean, you can cut the image from the magazine if you want to, and just like glue it. But the representation on this like site, J. Peterman, is just like really good and has like a shading and value and dimension, and you can actually use it as is. So here's the person based on the character traits that I had. And then there's a silhouette. So silhouette is basically a gesture drawing that is confirming your intentions and showing, you know, next to the makeover full body image, you kind of reaffirm what your intentions are. And you can mark what, or it is expected at least to mark what the period is it, because you can imagine, you know, your peer in something else and, you know, and put them in 50s. I mean, I don't know, it's just like really up to you. But it's important that you provide this like information to your partner and exchange it basically so that you can start working like from the head going down and building up until you get, this is like a takeaway, until you get really to this place. I mean, this is basically what they did at the end. And you have example of that, which is the fullest of the description of the character. So sort of going through this process, you guys, it's really the same whether you're doing the character developing a character for the game or for the movie or for the theater design. And you go literally into explanation why certain traits that are there, how they're represented. I really want to share with you guys this though. It's very important to look at your course book. Like, see, your course book has these like boxes that are gray, okay? And this is your reference point. Like if you look at that, you can find the information how to translate something that you have in this like a central row or column, okay? Guys, does that make sense? Any questions? I want to see you now. Guys, do you have any questions? Does this make sense? Oh, there is Krita. That's right. Thank you, Emma Rose. Yeah, Krita is good resource. what I'm trying to say is just, I'm leaving up to you to make decision what is the least stressful and how you want to approach it. Okay. Whether you want to just print images, resize it like physically, or you want to do it with Krita or with Photoshop if you have, or whatever that, you know, your choices. Does that make sense? Guys, do you have any questions? I can help you, like, you know, with some like programs, if whatever you come up with, to kind of troubleshoot some issues. But I really want to leave up to you, your level of skills, or, you know, hoping that you guys, yes, Anatia.
I wanted to ask, are you redesigning this person based on their hair, or are you changing the hair and making like?
You're changing the hair and you're changing the rest of the person. So here's a again, let me repeat it. You get the picture of the hair and the face, but you don't know how tall this person is. You don't know much about their body. But what you expect is to find the information that you need in this questionnaire that is in the character development form. So that's why I told you last week to start thinking about how you know, who are you, how you want to represent yourself to your team member who is going to create a makeover for you. Okay, so I assume that there will be a conversation. It's not just like, oh, let me give you the photo and what I have about myself, but there is going to be conversation because this is your resource, and it's your research as well. It's like reading a play. So you're going back to the play, which is your topic, which is the character that you want to create. The idea here, the reason why I was talking about the movies versus fashion versus the video games and the theater is building a character is building a character, no matter what. And realism is the style that we're gearing forward. So if we are doing it, theater actually design looks more and more like movie design with lots of details, especially in the costumes. That's being said, it's a process. It does not happen right away. And you're imagining actually the person, even if you know them, you're adding to it with your imagination, and you can actually situate a person in some of your favorite movies, or, you know, some storyline, which will define it as a genre, or, you know, time frame, give you a different time frame if you want to. So you have this kind of freedom to make that person that you're working with, that inspire you, to create a character inspired by them, but, you know, a version that is very real looking, but actually is a combo of your imagination and the real person. So it's in your character, basically, right? Does that make sense? Did I answer your question, Anatia?
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys have any concerns? Any other thoughts? Dead silence. I don't know how to interpret that. What do you mean? Jay, you're on the spot.
I don't really have any questions, but in terms of like so I get like doing the makeover, like drawing the face and like the hair and everything. But in terms of like the body aspect of it and like the costume, do we draw like the outfit, or do we take it from?
No. I want you to work with the images from the that J. Peterman catalog.
Okay.
So that has already drawn clothing pieces
Okay.
that you can take a screenshot, print out, resize it, even on the, like, if you import it in the window document, you can rescale it and print out. So the face or the hair, there are 2 links that you can choose from. You can find any other link and you can combine it. So I don't expect you to draw anything except for the hands, and then to add the line to the side and give us an idea what is the proportion of that specific body in relationship to how many heads are there. So you try to be realistic about, you know, so that person, that's why I told you, if you want to ask your peer about their weight or height, they want to share, that's fine. If they don't want to share, that's fine too. However, like when you're working with the character development, you always want to think about, like, what does the body represent? So that's why I gave you like this tips on the body shape, and they're more in the course book. So how do you navigate that? You know, do you accentuate the different type of the body shapes, or you cover it up like the example that I gave you? It's just really baggy clothes, no really patterning, no curves, no nothing. I mean, you don't really see is that person, what gender this person is, right? So, I mean, you just choose depending on how you get inspired and what is that you see in this person that you're working with and that you want to make.
Okay, so we draw like so we got the head, the hair, and then the rest of the body will be covered with the outfit, and then hands.
Draw the hands, and then, you know, you find the accessories. You can put them on the side, but, you know, we always have the accessories, like how something, you know, what is the prop that defines you? Like, think about that. Or what is the prop that defines this person? Like, how can you show? Like, the reason why there's like a mailman, like huge recyclable or whatever repurposed bag with this person as an example, is that it represents a working person who's going to work, and it's designer, and there's a whole bunch of things inside, including the iPad or laptop or whatever. I mean, it's like that size and bigger. So there's like things like, you know, like we were doing with Godot, we were looking like into the clues and translating it. Now we're actually defining the clues and translating into the visuals. Does that explain? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
But I like to be this as a teamwork, and so it would be advisable that is, if you guys have time to share with your peer or your team member, where are you at, and maybe get the feedback. If you don't feel like doing that, that's okay too, but I would hope that, you know, that way you guys can help each other and encourage, or, you know, help with the direction, which is sort of going back to the research and reading, which is having an interaction with each other. Yes, Raquel.
I was wondering what the tool sets you want us to use in terms of the pencils and charcoal, like what specifically you wanted us to use for those.
Okay, it's all written in the guidelines as well as in the presentation.
Okay.
But
I think I saw it, but I missed it. I'm sorry.
No, well, you cannot see all the details because I think they're like pages of the guidelines. And yes, you're using the vine charcoal for the silhouette. You can use pencil or vine charcoal for the hands drawing. And then the black Sharpie just for the outline, to give a little bit like stronger statement for the visual of the person that you created or the character. Okay? Does that answer your question? I did not mean to be like, oh, I want to tell you. No, I'm just reminding you guys. Yes, there is it's written. So that's why I put like print out the character form so that you have it for the future, but also print out the guidelines, because they're like list of things, how to follow, what to do, and then put everything in the digital journal format. So basically what is done so far, like a Godot, that's the beginning of your digital journal. You're just like connected later to the first drawing exercise, which are the gestures. And then you connect it to the next exercise, which is this assignment, the makeover assignment. Okay. Other thoughts and questions? Anything? It's just like, are you guys thinking, or it's really like, oh, you're feeling down, like you don't want to do it? Okay. Well, it's basically, let me just like reiterate something else, which is we are going through the course book through these assignments. Okay, so we're covering some of the text that is within the chapters that I listed. And again, the most important is this like the boxes with on a gray background as your reference tool that you want to use. But feel free to read the course book and reread it. We still have time to look through that because it cannot be done at one reading, nor it can be comprehended. So right now we're basically in understanding on learning how to draw the figure, the start of the roughs that we will eventually come to. And then we are also learning how to formulate the character that we, and define character to different strategies that are visual. Okay. So the other portion that I want you just to look at is the fashion presentation. I won't share with you, just want you to look at it. It's I think 6 pages in the back of your course book, starting with the 1940s. You guys did really well, rather excellent research on 1940s. So I'd say you have a handle on it when we were doing Godot, but you want to look into other periods, such as like 9-year periods. So, and try to remember some terms and silhouettes so that when we get to the quizzes, you can use fully the presentation, PowerPoint presentation and the book, so that you establish this knowledge of each period. Okay. The reason why I'm mentioning now that maybe is a good resource as well for you guys to look for the silhouettes for your character that you're building. Something about fashion. I mean, fashion is not really like defined by a clear line, and there is a difference in the silhouette. There's like lots of blending and overlapping, and especially now that we are like 21st century, there are so many references to 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, even like 40s, even Edwardian. So we can choose and combine. I mean, that's like why it's called postmodernism, I guess, this eclecticism that is happening. So I hope that this is like a good resource. I feel somehow, and maybe like I'm just like thinking too much, but I feel like because I was not really present last week, that we really need to reestablish our communication on Thursday, and that I want to lose you guys, so I want to help you grow. So okay, so bear with me. Set up the meetings on Thursday so that we can go over your project, your current project, and talk about the gesture drawings. I assume everybody received the email related to Godot and the gestures. Not the gesture, just Godot and the grades, right? Everybody got one. Alai, did you get your grades for the Godot? I did not see a response. I kind of expect to see the response. So, and I did receive some, so which is good. Okay. Do anything that I communicate with you guys. Don't be like my son. who just like, oh, he does not leave text messages because he does not have anything to say. Why are you calling me if you don't want to say something? In any case. Okay, so you guys, you have the communication with your partners, I assume, right? You do? Well, I would recommend that you do that like right away, like reestablish what the communication and what you need to do, and keep like communicating with me, and then let's meet on Thursday. How does that sound? Yeah. Have anything else you would like to share, chat in conclusion? Are we done? You're so tired. I'm tired. Okay, silence. That's fine. All right, so guys, I recorded this. I'm going to post it so you can have a link if you need to check something related to me talking, even though I believe everything is explained. But if not, don't hesitate to ask me anything, okay? Ta-da, we're done. Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.